Ladies and gentlemen, success is not something handed to you on a silver platter. It is not a gift wrapped in fancy paper waiting for you at your doorstep. It is not something you stumble upon by accident or something someone else can give you out of generosity. Success is earned, every single bit of it. There's a price to pay, and only those willing to put in the work will ever taste it. You don't get to wake up one day and find yourself at the top of the mountain. You climb step by step with sweat dripping, legs burning, heart pounding, and every fiber of your being screaming for you to stop. But you keep going because the top belongs to those who refuse to quit. Some people want success, but they don't want to put in the effort. They want the reward without the grind. They want the results without the discipline. They want to shine, but they're afraid to struggle. Let me tell you something. There is no shortcut. There is no elevator to success. You take the stairs one step at a time, and if you try to skip the process, life will bring you right back down. You see the champions, the leaders, the ones who inspire the world, and you think they were just lucky? No. You weren't there when they were waking up before the sun. You didn't see them practicing when nobody was watching. You didn't hear them fighting their own doubts, their own fears, their own excuses. You only see the glory, but you don't see the story. The truth is, every great person you admire has one thing in common. They refuse to be average. They refuse to settle. They refuse to let life happen to them. They took control. They made sacrifices. They invested in themselves when no one else believed in them. They stayed up late. They woke up early. They showed up every single day, even when they didn't feel like it. You have a dream, you have a vision, but the question is, are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to put in the work when nobody is watching? Are you willing to stay committed when the results aren't showing yet? Are you willing to keep going when it gets tough, when it gets lonely, when it feels impossible? Because let me tell you, success doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your background, your struggles, or how unfair life has been. It only cares about one thing. Did you earn it? You want success? Go get it. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Do the work. Make the sacrifices. Stay disciplined. Be relentless. And when the world finally sees your success, they'll call you lucky. Let them. You'll know the truth. You earned it. Success is not something that just falls into your lap. It is not a prize handed out for simply showing up. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or how talented you might be. If you want success, you have to go out and earn it. You have to fight for it, struggle for it, and prove to the world and to yourself that you deserve it. Too many people wait for an opportunity, hoping that success will magically appear, as if life owes them something. Life owes you nothing. Nobody is coming to hand you your dreams. Nobody is going to work for you, and nobody is going to push you when you don't feel like moving forward. That's your job. You want success? You have to be willing to sweat for it, to sacrifice for it, to wake up every single day and do the work when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one is even paying attention. Because the truth is, success belongs to those who take action, not those who sit back and wait. The world doesn't give out participation trophies for life. It doesn't care how badly you want something if you're not willing to put in the effort. You don't get success because you deserve it. You get it because you work harder, longer, and smarter than the next person. And when it gets tough, when the struggle feels unbearable, when the results aren't showing yet, that is the moment that separates the winners from the quitters. Friday came out of locked up. And at that point, I said, I'm going to be the winner. That is the moment where you decide, do I push forward or do I give up? Success has a price, and most people aren't willing to pay it. They want the glory, but they don't want the grind. They want the lifestyle, but they don't want the late nights and early mornings. They want the recognition, but they don't want the rejection, the failures, the setbacks. But those who are truly hungry for success, they don't complain, they don't make excuses, and they don't wait for permission. They take what's theirs. They get up when they fall, they learn from every failure, and they refuse to quit because they know that success is never given, it is earned. Everybody wants success, but not everyone is willing to do what it takes. That's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. There are no shortcuts, no easy roads, no magic formulas. You can't cheat the process, you can't skip the struggle, and you definitely can't expect to wake up successful just because you dreamed about it. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. The problem is most people want success on their terms. They want to put in half the effort and get double the results. They want to take the easiest path, avoid the pain, and still stand on top. But life doesn't work like that. Success has a price, and if you're not willing to pay it, someone else will. Someone else will wake up earlier, stay up later, push harder, and sacrifice more. And when they do, they will take the spot that could have been yours. Not because they were lucky, not because they had better connections, but because they were willing to do what you weren't. There's a reason why only a few people reach the top. It's not because they were born special. It's because they did the work when no one was watching. While others were sleeping, they were grinding. While others were partying, they were practicing. While others were making excuses, they were making moves. Success doesn't care about how tired you are. It doesn't care about how many times you failed. It doesn't care how hard life has been. It only cares about one thing. Did you earn it? So the question is, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to go the extra mile, to push past your limits, to stay committed even when it gets tough? Or will you be like everyone else, looking for a way out when things don't go your way? Because the truth is, if you're searching for an easy way, you might as well stop now. There isn't one. There never was, there never will be. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who grind, those who struggle, those who refuse to quit no matter how hard it gets. You either put in the work or you watch someone else live the life you could have had. People see the success, the trophies, the fame, the wealth, but they don't see the grind that made it possible. They see the highlight reel, but they weren't there for the behind the scenes struggle. They admire the champions, the top performers, the ones who dominate their fields, but they forget that every single one of them paid a price that most people aren't willing to pay. Success isn't just about talent, it's about effort. It's about the hours put in when no one is watching, the sacrifices made in silence, the discipline to keep going when quitting feels easier. You want success? You better be ready to work when the cameras are off, when the lights are out, when no one is there to clap for you. You better be ready to train when no one is checking in, to study when no one is forcing you, to grind when everyone else is relaxing. That's where success is built, not in the moments of celebration, but in the unseen hours, in the sacrifices no one talks about, in the discipline that most people refuse to have. The world sees the finished product, but they don't see the process. They don't see the early mornings when you could have slept in, but you got up anyway. They don't see the late nights when your body begged for rest, but you kept pushing. They don't see the failures, the rejections, the setbacks that tested you, that made you question if it was even worth it, but you kept going. You kept showing up, and that's why you will succeed. Everybody wants the glory, but very few want the grind. Everybody wants the results, but very few want to do the reps. The question is, are you willing to do what most people want? Are you willing to stay committed when no one is watching? Are you willing to struggle in private so you can shine in public? Because the truth is simple. Success doesn't show up for those who wait for it. It shows up for those who put in the work when no one else does. Struggle is not a sign that you are failing. It's proof that you are in the process of earning success. Every great person you admire has faced challenges, setbacks, and moments where they wanted to quit. The difference between them and everyone else is that they kept going. They didn't let obstacles stop them. They used them as fuel. They didn't break under pressure. They rose above it because they understood one thing. Success is not supposed to be easy. If it were, everybody will have it. Most people run at the first sign of difficulty. The moment things get hard, they look for a way out. They say, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I'm not good enough. But the truth is, struggle is part of the process. You don't grow without resistance. You don't get stronger without pain. You don't become great without going through something that forces you to level up. If you avoid struggle, you're also avoiding success. There will be moments when you feel like everything is against you. You will fail. You will lose. You will doubt yourself. That's not the universe telling you to quit. That's the universe testing you, asking, how bad do you really want this? Because success is not for the ones who give up. It's for the ones who take every setback, every failure, every challenge, and use it to come back stronger. Pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. Every champion, every leader, every legend you look up to has been where you are. They've been knocked down, but they got back up. They've had doors slammed in their faces, but they kept knocking. They've been told they weren't good enough, but they refused to believe it. That's why they made it. Not because it was easy, but because they pushed through the moments when it was the hardest. The struggle is not there to break you, it's there to build you. The question is, will you let it? Or will you be like everyone else who taps out when things get tough? Because if you can push through the pain, the frustration, the doubt, and the exhaustion, you will come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and hungrier than ever. And when you finally reach the success you've been working for, you realize something powerful. It wasn't given to you. You earned it. Success doesn't come to those who work hard once in a while. It doesn't belong to those who only put in the effort when they feel motivated. Success is earned by those who show up every single day, no matter how they feel, no matter what's going on in their lives, no matter how many times they fail. It's not about how talented you are. It's not about how lucky you are. It's about how consistent you are. Because talent without consistency is wasted potential, and motivation without discipline is just an empty promise. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. One keeps going, the other stops. One shows up when it's easy, but also when it's hard. One puts in the work when they feel good, but also when they're tired, discouraged, and frustrated. Anyone can work hard for a day, a week, a month, but can you do it for a year, 5 years, 10? That's what separates the great from the average. Every morning you have a choice. You can hit snooze or you can rise and grind. You can make excuses or you can make progress. You can say, I don't feel like it today, or you can say, it doesn't matter how I feel, I'm getting it done. Because feelings don't build success. Discipline does. The ones who make it are not the ones who rely on motivation. They're the ones who develop habits, routines, and an unbreakable mindset that refuses to settle. It doesn't matter how slow you go, as long as you don't stop. The people at the top, they weren't always the strongest, the fastest, or the smartest, but they were the most consistent. They kept taking steps forward even when they couldn't see the finish line. They stayed committed even when results weren't showing yet. They didn't let frustration, failure, or fatigue knock them out of the game. And because of that, they made it. So ask yourself, are you treating success like a hobby or like a commitment? Are you only showing up when it's convenient, or are you showing up no matter what? Because if you can be consistent, if you can keep pushing when no one else does, if you can stay disciplined when others quit, success won't be a question of if, it will only be a matter of when. Excuses don't build success. Hard work does. Dedication does. Relentlessness does. But too many people let excuses stand in the way of their dreams. They say, I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. I don't have the right connections. They tell themselves stories about why they can't make it instead of focusing on how they can. But here's the truth. Life doesn't care about your excuses. Success doesn't care how difficult your situation is. It only cares about one thing. Did you put in the work? Everybody has challenges. Everybody has struggles. But the ones who succeed are the ones who refuse to let those struggles define them. Some of the greatest success stories in the world come from people who had every reason to quit. They didn't have the money, the support, or the perfect circumstances, but they had the mindset, they had the hunger, they had the drive to push past every single excuse and find a way. That's what separates winners from everyone else. You either have excuses or you have results. You can't have both. Every time you make an excuse, you give yourself permission to fail. Every time you say, I can't, you take yourself one step further from the life you want. Success doesn't just show up because you want it. It shows up when you stop making excuses and start making moves. It shows up when you stop talking about what's holding you back and start focusing on what's pushing you forward. Some people say, I'll start when the time is right. Let me tell you something. The time will never be right. There will always be obstacles, distractions, and reasons to wait. The difference between the successful and the average is that the successful start anyway. They work with what they have. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create them. They don't sit around hoping for an opportunity. They build their own. So the question is, are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to start making progress? Are you going to let life happen to you, or are you going to take control? Because the moment you stop blaming your circumstances, the moment you stop looking for reasons why you can't, and the moment you start doing whatever it takes, that's the moment success starts coming your way. It won't be given to you. It won't be handed out like a free pass. You have to earn it. And the first step to earning it is letting go of every single excuse that's been holding you back. Success demands sacrifice. It doesn't come free and it doesn't come easy. It requires you to give up comfort, distractions, and sometimes even the things you love most. Everybody wants success, but not everybody is willing to pay the price. They want the rewards, but they don't want to make the sacrifices. They want the lifestyle, but they don't want the late nights, the early mornings, the missed parties, and the relentless discipline. That's why so many people never make it, because when it comes time to choose between comfort and commitment, they choose comfort every time. There will be moments when you have to walk away from things that don't serve your goals. Maybe it's the people in your life who don't support your vision. Maybe it's the time you waste on entertainment, on scrolling through social media, on doing things that don't push you forward. Maybe it's sleep. Maybe it's the idea that you can balance everything and still succeed at the highest level. Because the truth is, success doesn't care about balance. It cares about upset. It cares about how much you're willing to give up to go all in. Some people say, I want to be successful, but they're not willing to sacrifice their weekends, their free time, their bad habits. They want to be great, but they also want to stay comfortable. And that's where they lose, because success doesn't happen inside your comfort zone. It happens when you're willing to push past what's easy, to sacrifice what's convenient, and to put your dreams above everything that tries to steal your focus. Look at every champion, every leader, every person who has reached the top. They all had to sacrifice something. They missed out on sleep. They missed out on vacations. They missed out on nights out with friends, but they made a choice. They chose success over temporary pleasure. They chose to build a life of greatness instead of settling for a life of average. And now, while everyone else is still struggling, they're living the life they worked for. So ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up to get what you want? Because the truth is, if you're not willing to sacrifice for your dream will become the sacrifice. You either give up what's holding you back, or you give up the success that could have been yours. The choice is yours. Success is not given. It is earned through every sacrifice you're willing to make. Success starts in the mind before it ever becomes reality. The way you think, the way you see yourself, the way you respond to challenges, that's what determines whether you make it or not. You can have all the talent in the world, but if your mindset is weak, you will fail every time. Success doesn't come to those who doubt themselves. It comes to those who believe, those who refuse to settle, those who push beyond their limits, even when everything around them says, stop. Most people lose the battle before they even start because their mind is working against them. They say, I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. Maybe this isn't for me. And the moment they start thinking like that, they've already lost. Because success doesn't come to those who second guess themselves. It comes to those who know without a doubt that they will make it no matter what. Even when they fail, even when things don't go as planned, even when the world tells them to quit, they keep going because their mind is locked in. Your mindset is your strongest weapon, but it can also be your greatest enemy. If you fill your head with doubt, fear, and excuses, you'll never take the steps necessary to win. But if you train your mind to be strong, if you feed it with discipline, confidence, and the belief that you were built for this, there is nothing that can stop you. The most successful people in the world aren't the smartest. They're not always the most talented, but they have one thing in common. They refuse to accept failure as the end. They see obstacles as opportunities. They see setbacks as lessons, and they see themselves as unstoppable. The world will try to break you. Life will test you. People will doubt you. But the question is, what will you believe? Will you let negativity take over your mind, or will you take control? Will you let the fear of failure stop you, or will you push forward despite it? Because the truth is, success isn't just about what you do. It's about what you think. If you believe you can, you will find a way. If you believe you can't, you've already lost. Everything starts in your mind. Success is not for those who wait for permission. It's not for those who need someone else to believe in them first. It's for those who decide right here, right now, that they are unstoppable, that they are willing to do whatever it takes, and that nothing will stand in their way. Because once you lock in that mindset, once you refuse to accept anything less than success, it's only a matter of time before you earn it. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has failed more times than they can count. They've fallen, they've stumbled, they've made mistakes, but they never let failure define them. The problem is most people see failure as the end. They think that if they mess up, if they lose, if they get rejected, that means they weren't meant to succeed. But that's not the truth. The truth is, failure is the price you pay for success. It is the test that separates the ones who truly want it from the ones who only say they do. The difference between winners and everyone else is simple. Winners don't quit. They don't run from failure. They don't let setbacks destroy their confidence. They learn, they adjust, they grow, and they come back stronger. They understand that failure is not there to stop them. It is there to build them. It is life's way of asking, how bad do you really want this? And those who truly want it, those who are willing to keep fighting, they don't let failure break them. They use it as fuel. Most people avoid failure because they're afraid of looking bad, afraid of what people will say, afraid of the pain that comes with falling short. But the ones who make it, they embrace failure. They understand that every mistake teaches them something. Every rejection makes them tougher. Every loss prepares them for a bigger win. They don't fear failure. They fear regret. They fear looking back and realizing they gave up too soon. Ask yourself, how many times have you quit because it got hard? How many dreams have you let go of because you failed once or twice? How many times have you doubted yourself because of a setback? If you stop now, if you let failure win, you will never know how close you were to success. Some of the greatest victories in history happen right after a major failure. Some of the most successful people in the world failed for years before they finally broke through. The only reason they made it is because they refused to quit. So the question is, what will you do? Will you let failure define you, or will you use it to drive you? Will you let a few losses convince you to give up, or will you keep pushing until you turn those losses into wins? Because the truth is, success is not given, it is earned. And the only way to earn it is to keep going, no matter how many times you fail. At the end of the day, success doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't care about circumstances. It doesn't care about how hard your journey has been. It only rewards those who refuse to give up, those who are willing to put in the work, those who understand that nothing great is ever handed out for free. The world is full of people who want success but aren't willing to fight for it. They want the rewards, but they don't want to pay the price. They wait for opportunities instead of creating them. They expect things to come easy, and when they don't, they walk away. That's why so few people truly make it, because success is earned, not given. The question is, are you willing to earn it? Are you willing to go through the struggle, the pain, the failures, and the sacrifices to get to where you want to be? Are you willing to work when no one is watching, to keep pushing even when results aren't showing yet? Because the truth is, success doesn't belong to the most talented, the most connected, or the luckiest. It belongs to the most relentless, the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who don't take no for an answer, the ones who are willing to sacrifice, to endure, to push past every obstacle in their way. Most people say they want success, but when it gets hard, they back down, they make excuses, they settle. But if you truly want it, if you're serious about changing your life, then there's only one option. Keep going, keep grinding, keep showing up day after day, no matter how hard it gets. Because success is not something that comes overnight. It is something you build, something you fight for, something you earn with every ounce of effort, sweat, and dedication you put in. One day you will look back at your journey and realize that every sacrifice was worth it. Every failure was necessary. Every struggle shaped you into the person you needed to become. And when that moment comes, you won't just have success. You will have pride, knowing that nobody gave it to you. Nobody handed it to you. You earned it. And that feeling, that satisfaction of knowing you fought for it, knowing you refused to quit, knowing you put in the work, that is something no one can ever take away from you.